one of my questions is, how can you be an effective follower if you feel the leader might be going in the wrong direction?
Yeah.
How do you effectively tell the leader that without, and still be a team player, but maybe kind of coax them to reconsider other options? Because the leader's not always going in the right direction.
Right. So you've just dived into the heart of this subject there. So let me take those few points as jumping off points. And let me start with defining what at least I mean by follower. So as I've said, follower is a role. And it's a role that we assume at various times when we're working collaboratively. Sometimes it's a formally assigned role. Sometimes it's an informal role. You can be part of a cross-functional work team, and on some of the issues the team is dealing with, you may assume a leadership role. In others, you assume a follower role. And being able to fluidly move between the roles with a consciousness of what role am I playing on this issue is helpful. In my definition of a follower shares responsibility for the mission, for the purpose, and doesn't just put responsibility onto the leadership. The follower wants the activities to succeed, usually wants the leader to succeed, though not always, and works towards that end. Now you notice that this definition is somewhat distinct from the definition of subordinate. A subordinate may or may not actually display these characteristics. Okay. In hierarchical organizations, and all federal agencies, of course, are by nature hierarchical, followers usually accept direction of the formal leaders as long as those directions serve the mission reasonably well. Usually the directions are consistent with the mission, and we will usually follow. Having said that, followers can also influence the formal leaders and hopefully help them to make better choices that serve the mission or the common purpose better. So that's where the dynamism comes into the role. You have the capacity to do it, and part of your art, the art of followership, is how do you do that effectively? And lastly, and somewhat problematically, followers can withhold support if they believe that the mission or the common purpose is not being served well. And we know, that this can happen subtly, or it can even happen fairly overtly. Usually it's more subtle. What we're hoping to do is create an environment of collaboration between leaders and followers that minimizes the need to foot drag in the face of leadership initiatives. In other words, that there's sufficiently open dialogue towards the best strategies and policies to achieving the common purpose, so that we can all put our minds and hearts and souls behind the leadership initiative.